We're diving into one of the biggest hurdles speakers face, deciding what the heck to speak on. Before we start, please remember, click the subscribe button, follow button, like button, ring the bell to be notified of my next episode, and share this with your friends and clients that need to hear it. And if you love this podcast, please give us a 5-star review. Hello and welcome to Public Speaking Tips and Tales with Speaking Coach Kelly. This podcast is dedicated to helping you become a more confident and effective speaker. I'm your host, Kelly Kaye Walker, and each week we'll dive headfirst into the deep end of public speaking. I'll share real stories from the stage, interview other speakers, and evaluate speeches to show you what works on stage and what doesn't. So let's get started. One of the biggest hurdles to showing up as a speaker is narrowing down your speaking topic. There are so many experiences you can choose from in your life, so many trials you have overcome, so many topics you're passionate about. How do you know which one of those to turn into a speech? Well, in my experience, it is a process of evolution. You must choose a topic and run with it, or you will never get started. The thing to remember is that your topic is not permanent. It can morph and develop into something new over time. It can be totally abandoned for something better down the road. But until you start speaking, you won't have anything to work with. Throw some clay on that wheel with whatever topic excites you the most today and get going. My first topic was how to overcome depression, because that's what I had just been going through in my life. I had gone cold turkey off my depression meds, which I am not recommending you do that. Completely changed my attitude, my perspective, and my mindset, and practically became a new person. I was so excited to tell people about it. Luckily, I had been aware enough through the process to realize what was happening to me, and I remembered the tools and strategies that I used to fight that 12-year depression, and I could teach it to someone else. Thus, my first speech was born. Now, I didn't speak on that topic for very long. It was just a few months, but it got me out there speaking. It gave me precious experience on stage. Without that experience, I wouldn't feel comfortable trying out a new speech topic when the urge to change topics hit me. Soon, I found myself speaking on manifesting, and I ended up writing a book on it. My signature presentation became The Drive-Through Method of Manifesting. I made a podcast about it. If you want to go look it up, it's called The Queen of Manifesting. 108 episodes teaching you literally how to manifest anything you want. I was speaking all over the world about manifesting. And I still do, although now I also speak on how to use speaking to grow your business, and then also how to break through your fear of success. So now I have 3 main signature presentations that I give, and none of them are about depression. The key here is that you aren't stuck with your topic for the rest of your life. Pick something you are passionate about and start showing up as a speaker now. Let your message evolve into whatever it needs to be over time, and don't worry about whether it's perfect now or not. And by the way, it's not. And that's okay. Eventually, you will find the synergistic combination of what you know, what you love, and what people want to hear. Then you will be able to create a powerful, profitable signature presentation that you'll share with the world for years while supporting yourself financially doing what you love. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your message, this process we're going to go through next will give you a great speaking topic to get started with or to develop for your next topic. We're also going to tackle the obstacles that might pop up for you along the way and how to overcome them. And I will share some of my best tips at the end to make this journey a little easier and a little faster. All right, you ready? Let's go. Step 1, figure out your core areas of expertise. This first step is all about identifying the skills, knowledge, and experiences that set you apart from all the other speakers that share your general topic. Maybe you've got a formal education or some certifications or unique professional experiences that others don't. Or maybe your life has been perfectly engineered to lead you through very specific trials and hardships to become an expert at the thing that you have now mastered. I want you to think about hard skills and soft skills. So hard skills are things like financial planning or health coaching or speaker training. And then your soft skills are things like communication or emotional intelligence, things like that. I want you to be really generous with yourself when listing your skills, okay? I want you to come up with at least 20. Once you have a list of 20, you'll be able to move on to step 2. Now, here's the most common hurdle you're going to face while making this list. Imposter syndrome is going to rear its ugly head. You'll probably get that nagging feeling that you're not really an expert and someone else knows more than you. In fact, most people know more than you. So these thoughts about, not being good enough, not knowing enough, never being able to get to the point where you will feel good enough, this stems from perfectionism or comparison. And it can keep you from following your dreams and from taking those inspired action steps. And unfortunately, imposter syndrome will keep you trapped on that hamster wheel for years if you don't get over it. So to overcome imposter syndrome, here's what I would suggest. Focus on your actual experiences and successes instead of your imaginary scenarios where everything goes wrong. Remember that fear is putting faith in future pain. So stop imagining everything that could go wrong and instead focus on your wins. Write down specific examples of times you've helped someone or achieved great results for yourself. In fact, I suggest you create a brag book or a success journal. And what this could look like is just a document or a binder where you list all of your achievements, big and small. Update it regularly and review it whenever that imposter syndrome shows up and the self-doubt creeps in. Success energy is so powerful, and you can tap into that energy every day by keeping a success journal. When you do this, you're going to gain confidence in yourself and your abilities, and you're going to realize, wow, I actually have some good value to share with the world. This is going to boost your credibility on stage, and it's going to help you speak with authority while also banishing all of those annoying imposter syndrome thoughts in the back of your head. All right, step 2. Figure out which topics you are most passionate about. When you speak about something that you truly care about, your enthusiasm will be contagious and your audience will be highly engaged with your speech. When you speak about something you truly care about, your enthusiasm is contagious and your audience will be highly engaged with you during your speech. Start this step by listing topics that excite you. And here's a hint. If you have a hard time coming up with a list, start with this. What kind of things do you spend your free time reading about, studying, or talking to others about? Chances are those are things you are passionate about. Here's an example for me. I am passionate about hair. I love watching hair videos. I love watching people cut hair, fix hair, braid hair. I love shopping for new hair extensions. I love talking about hair extensions with other people that have them. And I like to talk about maybe, changing hair color, maybe going gray one day. Now, does that mean I should be up on stage speaking about hair? No, but I do mention hair in several of my speeches because it's a big part of my life and I'm excited about it, and a lot of people can relate to hair stories. I'm also passionate about drumming. I love drums. I have 2 of my own drums. I love to drum, and I drum myself when I am stressed out, and sometimes I even bring my drums to use at my events to help move the energy. Now, my signature presentation is not about drums, but often drums are involved, even if it's just in the prep before the event to manage my stress. Those are just 2 examples from my life of things I am passionate about. So go ahead and make your list of at least 20 things that you are interested in. And please note, this does not mean you have to be an expert in those things. We're only looking at interest in step 2, okay? So remember, step 1, write down all the things that you are knowledgeable in, expert at. And then step 2 is make a list of things you are interested in or passionate about. All right, step 3, this is where the magic happens. Compare and line up your answers. Look at your list of expertises and look at your list of passions. I want you to go down both lists and put a star next to your highest areas of expertise, like probably 5. Pick 5 of your highest. And then look at your list of passions and put a star next to your 5 highest passions. And then I want you to look at the 2 lists and see where do they synergistically align with each other. These alignments are going to create the foundation for an amazing speech. Let's say you are the most passionate about helping others feel empowered. And then on your expertise list, you're also highly expert in helping people feel empowered. This would be an amazing speaking topic for you to start with. Once you align your passion with your expertise, you become a powerful speaker that truly changes lives from the stage. All right, are you ready for step 4? Step 4 is find the stories from your life that support the things you're teaching in your speech. Stories make your message relatable and memorable. They help illustrate your points in a way that engages your audience and resonates with them on a level that information alone can never take them to. The problems I see my speaking clients run into during this step can feel really hard and insurmountable, but let me remind you that this is a process and your choices are never permanent when it comes to choosing a speech topic. You can upgrade your stories for as long as you are speaking. So let's look at the 2 main problems you'll probably face with this step, and then we'll talk about how to get over them. First, you might have a fear of getting too personal with your stories. You don't want to make yourself look bad, or you don't want to make a family member look bad. Maybe there's abuse in your journey and you don't know how to safely share those stories. How much detail is too much or not enough? And what if you can't tell that story without getting so emotional that you end up on the floor in a puddle of tears? Okay, the second big problem. You might not know how to identify which of your life stories are important, impactful, or transformational. It can be challenging to step back and be objective when feeling all the feelings of your big stories, so you can't get clarity on the lessons they might teach because you're feeling the feelings. You have so many experiences that you could share that you feel overwhelmed by having too many options. And then what if you choose one that's a dud? Or what if you choose a story that triggers your audience beyond your ability to handle? These problems must be overcome because sharing personal stories is a non-negotiable. If you want to reach people, you have to tell stories from your life. Sharing personal stories helps you connect with your audience on a deeper level. It makes you more relatable and human, which builds trust and engagement. So now I'm going to share with you my best tips for dealing with these two problems. Fear of telling too raw of a story that exposes too much, or fear of not being able to choose the best story to teach your lesson most effectively. First, learn to identify safe but powerful stories. Telling a story you have not recovered from is a danger zone you want to avoid at all costs. If it would hurt someone else involved in the story, find a way to tell it that doesn't identify that person. If you can't do that, then it's not time to share that story. Also, if you are still suffering from the events in the story, it's like speaking from an open wound instead of a scar. When we speak from our scars, we have a manageable emotional response and aren't in danger of having a breakdown on stage. Try recording yourself telling the story that you have chosen. And when you watch it back, listen for too much emotion, bitterness, anger, or exposing other people's secrets in a reckless way. If your story has any of those, it's not time to share that story, so choose another one. Keep testing with this process until you find a story that is both safe and powerfully authentic. Remember, always be yourself, but you don't have to reveal your whole self to the point of not being safe. You've got to find the balance between the two. Next, start a story file. And if you don't know what that is or want to learn more about it, I recommend you read the book Storyworthy by Matthew Dix. And I will put a link to that in my show notes. I love this book and I recommend it to everyone who wants to be a speaker or a better speaker. So to start a story file, I would open a Google Doc that you could open on your phone and your laptop so that you can access it at any time. And when something happens that could possibly be a cool story, write it down in the Google Doc. And then also when you've got some free time, sit down and start listing your life stories. You don't have to write them out in detail. Just give them a name and a synopsis to jog your memory when you read it. Update your story file anytime you remember a story from the past. It is amazing how your memories will open up and start flowing once you start this practice. I have remembered things that I hadn't thought of in decades. When you're preparing a speech, think about what you want your audience to learn, and then look at your story file for stories that could teach that principle. For instance, if I wanted to teach my audience to follow their dreams, I would want them to feel hopeful, empowered, and to take an inspired action step. So I would look for a story from my life where I felt inspired to do something out of my comfort zone, pushed through the fear and did it anyway, and how that one decision, that one action step was like knocking over the first domino. And once it fell, my progress turned into an avalanche, a runaway train of awesomeness. So I would go through my story file and look for stories that have those elements in them. That is the magic of a story file. Having a story file to refer back to makes writing speeches infinitely easier and faster. So please start a story file of your own today. All right, step 5, the final step. Put it all together and then give yourself permission to only give this speech one time. No strings attached. The stress of having to create your first talk and then turn it into your signature presentation for the rest of your speaking life is enough to keep anyone from ever getting started. Remember, my first big speech was on overcoming depression, and I only gave it a few times before I leveled up and moved on to a topic I was more expert in and had more passion for, manifesting. And I've leveled up several times since then to topics I am even more expert at and have even more passion for. The key is to let go of the idea that if you write a speech and put all that work into it, then it's got to be your topic for the rest of your life. So take the pressure off of yourself to get it perfect before you can start speaking. Otherwise, you will probably never start speaking. Perfectionism has killed more dreams than failure ever will. I love that quote. Just get out there and start sharing the message you have now, and you will get practice speaking, which is the most valuable thing you can get at this point. You'll also gain clarity on what works and what doesn't work for you and your ideal client. If you never pick a topic and you never start speaking, that clarity will never come, and you will forever remain in the audience. When your soul is yearning to be up on that stage, don't let that happen to you, because you belong in the spotlight, changing lives from the stage. Yes, I get emotional about this. It's very important to me that people that have a message get out there and share it, and don't just let it die in their hearts because they can't get clarity. So please use this process. Pick a topic, throw some clay on the wheel, and get out there and figure out what you want to do by getting started now and giving yourself permission to let it be imperfect. Okay, that is it for today. Thank you for listening. I hope you loved this episode. This is a very meaty episode with a lot of information. I recommend you re-listen to it, pause it when you need to, make your lists, do the assignments so that you're actually getting somewhere from listening to this podcast. Don't just listen and go about your day and say, oh, that's a nice idea, and then never do it, okay? Remember to like, subscribe, follow, all the things. Share this with someone who needs it. And please leave us a 5-star review if you loved it. If you need a little more help figuring out your stories, I have made a 16-page workbook designed specifically to walk you through that process. If you would like to get a free copy of that workbook, go to www.kellykaywalker.com/workbook, and you can get it for free. Let me spell that for you, especially my middle name, Kay. So it's KELLYKAYWalker.com/workbook. If you would like to be a guest on this podcast and share stories from the stage, good, bad, or ugly, we want to hear them all. Make us laugh or make us inspired, make us cringe with you. Send me an email at speakingcoachkelly@gmail.com with the subject line guest. And if you would like to get your speech evaluated by me on an episode of this podcast, also send me an email, but with the subject line evaluate me, and I will send you the application to get your speech evaluated for free on the podcast. All right, that is it for today. I love this episode. I hope you did too. I'll see you all in the next episode.